Well, this provision has been welcomed by Louise Davis, who's a teacher and a branch secretary of the Association of Teachers and Lecturers.
For members of staff who have been accused of any form of allegation, anonymity must be paramount until the issue has been resolved one way or another. I mean, it's an absolutely devastating situation to be in. What's really astounding is that 50% of staff have reported that they or a colleague have had a false allegation against them. So that's actually affecting a huge number of educational professionals within our schools.
Well, that's the view of the Association of Teachers and Lecturers, who welcome the idea of anonymity. Margaret Morrissey used to be involved in the National Parent Teachers Association and now runs the website ParentsOutloud. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Evan.
What do you think of this idea of allowing teachers to remain anonymous until facing a formal charge with an allegation made by a pupil?
Well, I think it's sensible and wonderful, but I think it's almost impossible to enforce. We've always had what's in brackets called the Schoolgate Mafia, but now we have emails, we have social networking, and, you know, if someone, I believe, has abused my child, I'm probably going to talk about it, and I'm going to want to talk about it to all the other parents.
So it'll just drift out and will be talked about in the community.
I just think it is absolutely surely to happen, and I'm not quite sure who government have spoken to about this, where the parents are, who the parents are, and what age their children are, because I think we have got to be absolutely rigid on this, and there has got to be a law that says no parent, no child, no teacher is allowed to speak about this until it's been resolved.
Oh, but that's very draconian. To say that no one can speak about it among themselves is that's not going to work.
Well, certainly
not. How can
not.
you enforce that?
Well, I just think it's got to be that rigid and that strict, because, you know, when this happens to a child, a parent is going to defend their child to the ultimate. That's human nature, and I'd have to say I would do it myself, and I'm sure you would too. The temptation is to say to the other parents, you're not going to believe what XYZ did to my child. And so immediately the teacher's name is out there. They are, you know, accused. And the thing is, Evan, you know and I know that once you've been accused of something, as the teacher said, 50%, I would have thought it was probably higher, actually are totally exonerated. Now, it's very strange because I'm an absolute out-and-out parent sitting here saying this. But realistically, I know the damage that can be done, and it's done in the very best of faith. But the only thing that I can think that would stop this happening is that the law says if this happens, then the case will be totally dropped.
I mean, the figures do suggest that rather few of these cases actually end up in court. I think that 1 in 6 is taken to the police, and about 1 in 6 of those, according to the Association of Teachers and Lecturers, actually ends up in court.
Yeah, I mean, that is very important, but unfortunately, underneath all that, the worst thing is done. The teacher has been accused, and they will walk down the street, they'll walk around the school, and people will look at them. And there's always that, I wonder if, you know, what if they did? I'm not sure. Well, just in case. So I do think, you know, we are not perhaps, in this case, giving teachers the best protection that we could. And it will be very interesting to see what Mr. Gove and co are actually planning to do to support and defend teachers, because I've thought about this long and hard, and I really can't see, other than making it illegal, to actually discuss and reveal a name. I mean, to say my child has been attacked or abused by a teacher, fine, but to then go into detail and say Mr. or Mrs. or Miss so-and-so did this to my child, when it hasn't been proven, it hasn't been investigated, it actually destroys that person's life. I know it does.
Margaret,
and it's